You're in focus again.
I am in focus and you're not. Let's see what happens. Didn't throw it to you. What if I look at you? Did it throw it to you?
Oh, for a second I think it did. Yeah.
We keep messing with this thing. All right.
Welcome back.
Welcome back
Yeah.
to another episode of Under the Sun and Moon podcast with Michelle and Kes. I'm Michelle.
I am Kes. And my God, we're on a streak.
I know, it's been exactly
This is week 2
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been exactly a week since we posted the last video.
And we're going to post this one today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we're vidging today,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to post today.
I know.
Wow. I don't know who we are.
Let's not get too excited, though, because...
There are no customers in the store.
Yeah, no.
We have not made a sale this week.
It's Sunday, it's freezing, it's cold.
It's actually not as freezing anymore.
Well, no, not anymore.
If you follow us on Instagram or Facebook, you would have seen our post from yesterday where the door was
a sheet of ice.
Frozen.
Yeah.
And at one point, it's actually 39 right now.
Ooh, it's like summer.
And the door doesn't close correctly anyway. Like when a customer comes in, it gets caught, and then eventually the weight of it will close. And so we did have a customer come in yesterday. She didn't buy anything. She ordered something. And so the door didn't shut right away, and there was like 7 degrees outside. It was so, and but the top of the door, because it was warm inside the store, so the top of the door, the ice was melting, and it was running to the bottom of the door, and it had created an ice dam, and the door would not close at all.
Yeah, no.
So then we had to get hot water and melt the dam away so that the door would close. It was a mess.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
I had salt like on the inside of the door as well, just to get something.
We were just trying to figure out a way to get the door to close.
Yeah, no, not happening.
It was not good. Yeah, we actually were closed on Friday because it was so cold.
We had no degrees.
We had
less than no degrees.
We were in debt with degrees on Friday, and then with the wind chill factor,
it was negative 37.
It was
or
crazy.
Something.
It was crazy. Friday night, crazy. And of course, we went to a
basketball
game.
For senior night. Yeah! A round of applause.
A round of applause. Not to our local school, but to one of them.
No, but to my cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went to Greenville and
yeah.
watched them play, and they played very well.
Yeah, that was actually a really good game.
It
and
was.
I know nothing about basketball.
See? So there you go.
So, yeah.
But it was entertaining.
Yeah.
What are you up to lately?
I am doing grad school things.
Grad school things.
I am applying to grad school for things. Yeah.
Right.
Specifically,
You've done this before.
I have done this before. I did this
when you were a senior.
Around-ish this time 2 years ago.
Yeah. And got accepted to one program that we couldn't afford.
Yeah, no. There was no financial aid option
at
either
all
because it's not a federally funded institute.
And it's also not an accredited program.
No, it's
That's
not.
the problem.
I would have gotten a certificate rather than like a bachelor's or a master's or something like that. This time...
But it was a great program.
Yeah.
But apparently you can only attend it if you've got a spare $30,000.
I think 30's for wiggle room.
And cash.
But yeah. Yeah.
Like, you
straight
have
up
to be able to pay it before classes start.
Yeah.
So, not for the average person.
No.
And then the school that you applied to that had an actual program, you didn't get into.
No. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But I am applying to an MFA program this time. Again, well, yeah. I'm actually applying to a school that I've previously applied to before as well. I think it's the exact same program. I'm applying for an MFA. I didn't do an MA last time, right?
No, it was an MFA.
Yeah. Same program, same place.
Yeah. I get the impression they haven't had a lot of applicants.
No, because they posted something on Instagram.
For the program. Yeah. A lot of colleges and universities across the board, private, public, and everything in between, my understanding, have been seeing lower enrollment rates since the pandemic.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? I mean, there's a bunch of reasons, but...
I think... Well, I know one of the reasons that I ran into it recently there was, since the pandemic has been declared over, or not as...
Are we on a hiatus? Pandemic hiatus?
I have no idea.
You can still get COVID.
Right.
And still get very sick and die.
No one knows what's happening with it. But since it has lessened in intensity,
that's a good way to put it,
yeah. Colleges have taken away, like, online classes again.
Yeah. So that's what we were going to talk about. Because Kes found a graduate program that she really liked.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't offer the classes
online.
Remotely.
None of them.
And she's not moving to Washington, D.C.
No.
Not that she wouldn't love to, but she can't afford it.
Right. And since Washington, D.C. is not a big place, I tried applying to Georgetown through their Cochrane? Cochrane? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
To their Cochrane School of Art and Design, because they have specifically a documentary photography and photojournalism master's program.
Yeah, great program. It's Georgetown, so.
And I attended a webinar questionnaire thing with the director of the program. And I asked, I was like, hey, because also, really quickly, they're really big on having international students. And I assumed, I was like, oh, cool. If they offer it really big to international students as well, maybe I can swing something because I can't make it there, but I still want to take the program.
Right.
No. They make...
And their advertisement made it sound like
that it was online.
That they had remote options for the program. So you went to this info session and...
I asked them, I was like, hey, I'm in New York. I have no plans of living on campus or moving there because I have a job and a family and things like that. And I was like, is there an option for me to be a virtual student?
No.
Like, it's...
Yeah, like not even it's up for discussion or certain classes we might have to work with a college or university near you. Just no. Just no. No was the answer.
Yeah. And it wasn't no, however, and then something. Right. It was no, and then she tried convincing me to become an on-campus student. Like, she tried to get me to see about living on campus. And I was like, also no. Like, so then no, back to you.
So then that's what led us here, right? So you had said to me,
why is it so difficult?
Like yeah.
Why is it so difficult that in a post-pandemic world, whatever happens with the pandemic,
right,
education has become really inaccessible again?
Yeah, it's weird. You would think that there would still be options available for that kind of thing. You look in focus.
I know it looks like it from here, but I sat back here, and I don't know if that makes a difference.
Yeah, I don't know either. I can never tell.
Anyway,
it's focused on me for some reason.
It really likes you.
So the camera loves me.
So I was texting Mom because I was very upset.
She was pissed.
I was really mad.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why is it...
It's been like 2 straight weeks of her being pissed off about different things.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a whole other thing we can get into later. Mm-hmm. But...
Sure we can.
I was like, why is it that...
Sorry.
When COVID was happening, like, online education was... like a blessing to a lot of people.
Right.
Because there are people that don't work well in group settings. There are people that want to have one-on-one sessions and just not have to deal with the pressure of being around other people.
In a classroom.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of people excel.
I think I did really well
mm-hmm.
on doing online schooling through my last semester as a senior. I actually made Dean's List one of those semesters.
Yeah.
But, I was like, why is it that in this time that we're in, during or after or whatever the pandemic, why did anybody feel it necessary to take those options away?
Yeah, and why are they forcing people to be, or encouraging people to be back on campus? Not just on campus, but in this case with you, like needing housing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
What is the purpose of that? So one of the things that I had said to her was, I know that there are professors that will not teach an online course.
Right.
And have been there long enough, tenured long enough, which tenure is a whole thing. That's maybe not such a good thing in some cases, where they don't have to teach online courses. It's not part of their contracts. They were never hired under those circumstances because online teaching was not an option when they were employed. And you might think, oh, well, that was 20 or 30 years ago. But no, I mean, you could have been hired and not required to teach online classes 10 years ago. It was only 2013. Mm-hmm. And you could very well have been hired, and it could not have been in your employment contract or in your tenure agreement at that point to teach online courses. And there are people, just as there are people who really want a remote option as a student, there are professors who are just not open to that kind of an atmosphere.
Yeah.
And that means that not every class that you need for a program would be available to take in a remote setting.
Right. I will say, I understand that it is difficult to do a degree program where most of your work is hands-on. Like, with studio art or with photography in some cases, it's not exactly easy to not have access to a studio space or the materials or anything like that and be an online student.
But you pay
it
a
is
fee
possible.
For that. Yeah, so you pay a fee for that. I mean, can't you just rent a studio space near you and work with other artists and then upload images of your work?
I would like there to be, but apparently there's not.
I wonder why. What you cannot do online is get a law degree.
You cannot. Yeah.
You can get a certain type of degree that has to do with law, but you cannot become a lawyer.
Like my husband
by
did that.
taking your classes online.
My husband has a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice and Homeland Security.
But I mean law though.
Oh, you mean like actual?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's not just art. I mean, there are some programs that just aren't open to that.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because it's a conservative field and it's a modern concept to take
maybe.
classes. But there's so many types of law that don't require you to be face-to-face with an individual.
That's true. And again, I would think that after seeing what happened during COVID, people made these circumstances to where these things could happen.
Yeah,
where
why
these things
would you invest in all these things and then stop
and then just take it away?
Yeah.
I think another thing is that, like I said, there's a lot of people that don't really like being in a classroom setting. They don't have to be. That's just the thing. Having students be in person or online, the campus and the college get money either way.
Right, they
still get really good numbers for their retention. Why would they take that away?
Yeah, because some schools don't allow you to pay less money, too, if you're not physically on campus using any of the facilities.
Yeah.
And that means you're not using the cafeteria, you're not using the gym, you're not parking your car there.
Yeah.
You don't need security, you don't need heat, lighting, electricity, none of that, but they still make you pay this exact same amount to take a course online as in person. So you'd think that they would be encouraging that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But it seems yet that that's not necessarily the case. I mean, you can't teach someone how to sail remotely. Maybe you could, but it's probably not a good idea. And there are just some things that you can't do remotely. But most classes, the vast majority of courses, you can do remotely.
Right. I would think that, like, for I don't like it, the Common Core classes, like English, math, history, some sciences need to be in person.
Earth science. Well, you could do biology. You could do biology remotely, but you might not be able to do a bio lab necessarily remotely.
Same with chemistry.
Yes and no. I mean, People do it though, can't they? Can't you just buy a kit and a kit comes to your house and you?
And not, by the way, also really quickly, not you buy a kit. That's the institute should be getting these things for you. I'm just saying.
Right, like it's part of your fee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what the heck?
I just don't understand why people aren't taking more advantage of the remote option.
I don't either. And for this program, I'll just throw it out there. I'm applying to SUNY Albany for their MFA program in studio art, but I would specialize in documentary photography because that's yeah. I would be a commuter student,
right?
And
so because of this holdup, she's actually stuck applying to schools
in the area
that are near here and offer a master's program, even somewhat in that field.
Right. And like there are online certificate programs and things like that. None of them are federally funded. I'm pretty sure.
No, there aren't.
Well, not none of them, you're right. But the ones that I keep coming across aren't.
Right, they're like a specialty program. It's not that they're not federally funded, it's that they're not accredited.
Sorry.
And then you can't use financial aid to pay for those things.
Right. So, yeah, I'm kind of stuck. But yeah, it makes me mad.
So you were frustrated about it. You were frustrated about not having many options available, that there are programs out there, but you can't seem to be able to access them.
Right.
Or if you can access them, you can't pay for them because they're extraordinarily expensive and you can't apply financial aid that you need in order to pay for the program. So it's an odd catch-22. I'd like to hear from other people that are interested in those kinds of things.
The one program...
I do think that it's limiting. The other thing is because when you think about it, when you're not allowing a remote option, you're keeping yourself restricted to people that can access the school. Yeah. People that can financially access the school or people that can locally access the school. Which means that if you're poor or lower income and you are rural, you're locked out of a lot of options.
Yeah.
Which is you.
The one program that we mentioned earlier that I did get accepted to, but I couldn't pay for, there was a financial aid option.
Yeah, but
you had to work on campus to be eligible for financial aid.
You had to go there. So you physically had to go there.
Yeah.
And you had to have the entire tuition amount paid off within the first month of school. It was something like that.
Yeah, It was a really, really short time frame.
Yeah, so they're like, we're going to give you a chance, but your window's like 3 months long, I think it was.
Yeah, and after...
Because the deposit had to be made 2 months before classes started.
And they still have my $500.
That was just for the...
That was just for the deposit.
Yeah.
That was after... That was also another thing. That was after I was like, oh my god, I get to go to this place, and it's going to be great. No one told me
that you couldn't get federal.
That I couldn't get any financial aid.
You had to get a private loan.
That was afterward. No one told me that beforehand.
Yeah, which we couldn't get, because we don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, no. It's not a very... I'm kind of upset, too, because that's not a very large program for anyone.
No.
That is like a very specifically selected kind of people program.
Yeah.
I'm mad.
Yeah. She was mad. She's still pretty mad about it.
And that was almost 2 years ago. Yeah, because I got accepted before I graduated from college.
Yeah.
I made a whole post on Instagram about it. If you want to be sneaky and go see who it was, it's in my reels somewhere on Instagram.
So they weren't very open or accurate in their advertising of the program.
No, and neither was Georgetown.
Right. Which kind of sucks. I wonder why people are resistant to teaching online courses.
Well, you kind of said some of it earlier. It might just be a more conservative type of thing, where this is a very modern thing.
It is, but that implies that it's an age thing, and I don't necessarily think it is. I don't think
it is either.
I think there are people that are professors or teaching at the college level in their late 20s and their 30s, and they also don't like the idea of teaching remotely.
Is it the same thing as to why people don't like having people work remotely? If they can't see you doing it, they don't believe that you're working on it?
I guess that could be one thing. I assume that one of them is that they're not comfortable with the concept. Like it's too disconnected for them, and they need the connection, like with a classroom of people.
I guess that could be it too.
Yeah.
But it popped into my head
that it's too abstract for some people to grasp.
Yeah.
There are students that don't like to take courses remotely. Do you know any of them? Because I don't.
That don't like remote courses?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I went to college with some of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also like, I mean, there's a bunch of reasons that people may not like taking online courses. Some of them have to do with the social aspect, because they like being around people. That's
sure,
fine.
But what if you're me and you don't like being around people?
Right. I did go to college with some people who really, really did not like online classes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But that wasn't a large number.
Because I was just looking at this. I had just Googled something before we went on, and here's a website that says why college students turned from being down on remote. It says they felt alienated because they were lonely by only being on their screen. That makes it sound like it was all college students, and that is not true.
Yeah, no.
It's a very vague article, too.
Do you want to source it? Who's it written by?
This is published on EdSurge. It's written by Robert U. Bell, a columnist who writes for their higher education section.
Mm.
But a lot of students have just stopped attending school, which is why Cazenovia is closing. Because their enrollment numbers are down so low, they can't keep the school open. And they're not the only ones. A lot of small colleges.
About that.
Yeah, and they're not the only ones. A lot of small colleges are closing.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but my alma mater, Cazenovia College, is closing at the end of this semester. Like, they actually just had a transfer fair. Like, they had a bunch of other colleges come in and help other students transfer, which thank God that they're, like, doing all that work to help people move, because some people won't do it. Some people won't help like that. But it was really sad to see that it's happening. But, yeah.
Did you feel less engaged when you were taking classes online? In that particular situation during the pandemic?
I felt...
Because she was home with me, and I can tell you that she had some professors that did not transition well. They were terrible at teaching remotely.
I had one professor, I didn't hear from them for a month.
A month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the school had shut down.
I'm not gonna...
And she didn't have the book for the class because they left for spring break thinking they were going to go back.
Yeah.
And she kept trying to reach this person, along with other students, saying, I can't do the readings. I don't have the textbook. What do you want me to do? And did not respond. Did not respond at all.
But yeah. What did you
But we've been sending emails. I have worked on a computer since 2002. I mean, you send emails to people and you share photos. Like, what's the hang up?
I don't know. What did you ask me? Did I feel what?
Alienated.
I didn't feel alienated. Actually, I don't know why I would feel alienated.
I don't know either, but apparently some of these articles say that some students just didn't have the connection with their teacher. And that has to do with different learnings. I'm not saying there shouldn't be in-person learning. Everybody learns differently. But I'm saying that the options should exist equally.
I think because, for me, I think it's because I am really easy to be personable with.
Mm-hmm.
And personal, apparently.
You're so nice.
My God, you're so nice. I feel like I could tell you anything.
Please don't.
Please don't. That I don't know.
It's a curse.
Yeah. So, I don't think I felt alienated. I did feel like at the beginning, I did feel like I was restricted to the world around me.
Mm-hmm.
But that was because of a few things. One, I was terrified to go outside for a while.
That was pandemic related.
Yeah, because I was really scared of being sick.
And scared of being caught possibly breaking a rule that you didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
And then getting kicked off the campus.
Right. That was back when we were on campus for the fall semester of 2020.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm asthmatic. I've now had COVID since then. I had COVID in May of 2022. Never, ever want to experience that again. Oh my God. But I was like, this is just me, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure being vaccinated to the degree of which I was vaccinated literally saved my ass.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I would have ended up in the hospital if I did not have that vaccine.
Yeah.
Because
you were very sick.
I was the sickest out of three of us because it was me, you, and Grandma.
Yeah, so she was the sickest of the three of us, and that included her 72-year-old grandmother.
Yeah, and I was on my couch wheezing for weeks, I think.
Brain fog,
body aches, really, really horrible fatigue. I was sleeping like 16 hours a day, or I wasn't sleeping at all. There was no in between.
Yeah.
But I was like, when I was on campus, I was terrified to leave my room.
Yeah.
I was like, if I get sick, I'm scared I'm going to keel over.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't feel alienated during online classes because I felt like I had more freedom when I was at home. I didn't feel so stuck in one spot as compared to when I was on campus.
Right, yeah.
I did feel like I was stuck in terms of my material because for my photo classes...
Sure, you couldn't develop film.
Also, my situation was a little more interesting because I remember one of the assignments, because I took an advanced level of digital photography and studio photography, which ended up turning into somewhat digital photography because we couldn't use studio lighting or anything like that.
Sure.
Window light. I lived in a basement during that time.
Yeah.
A little complicated. A little not
And we
easy.
were all on lockdown, and we were told that we couldn't go anywhere or do anything, and yet her assignment said, well, since you can't use these kinds of artificial lighting, use window light. She even contacted her professor and said, there are no windows.
Yeah. I have two, and they're at opposite ends of this concrete block I live in. So, like, thank God for having a roof over my head. Seriously. Not entirely accessible for me.
No, not for taking photos with window light.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So
where do we go from here? What does it look like?
I can tell you what I want it to look like.
Okay,
but
what do you want it to look like?
I want it to look like... I want colleges to be able to have the accessibility that they started having in like fall of 2020 and spring of 2021, where it was hybrid online classes and in-person classes. Because, also really quickly, no one said, well, not no one, I don't know who said that however our education access was before.
I don't understand what's going on.
I don't know. Okay, so before I was so rudely interrupted.
I know, by the freaking battery.
The battery, the card, it was all It was all that. I don't know who said it, that our education access before the pandemic was ideal.
Yeah, it was not. Yeah,
because
it wasn't.
No one said that going back to normal. Here I go again. I don't know who said that going back to normal was what we wanted to do.
Right.
Especially when it came to education access.
Well, work
because that's crap.
You know, I work at a job where I am 50% remote, and I still don't understand why I have to be there 50% of the time, because the rest of my coworkers are not all there on the same day. Yeah. They can't be. There's literally not enough office space for us to all be there at the same time. So why am I there at all, other than the concept that because I'm paid by tax dollars, my butt needs to be in a chair somewhere? It doesn't make any sense. Also, I get a lot more work done when I'm not in the office with the distractions.
Yeah. Is it an ableism thing?
Is it an ableism thing? Can you clarify for me?
Is it assuming that everybody can work in the same situation, in the same circumstances, in the same environment, that they think everybody can do the same work wherever they choose? Well, not wherever they choose to be, but wherever the higher ups choose you to be.
Oh, so you mean, is it small-mindedness?
Yes.
Yes, I believe it is.
Yeah. There you go. We said it.
I do. Yeah.
Man, it really likes you.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. You're also really close to that one end over there.
That's because I'm trying to.
And it's still picking.
I'm sewing the
cushion,
soft cottony cushion onto this lovely latex.
I love latex.
Yeah.
Well, not plastic latex. I like this latex.
Yeah, this is a latex mattress.
Yeah.
I'm making a custom window seat cushion, and it is luxurious.
Mm-hmm. Your mattress is made out of this.
Yes, it is, and you love it. You love my mattress.
I love your mattress.
Okay, so
right.
All right, so let's get back to where do we go from here? Like, what is there? What's the option?
The option is...
Should remote be available for everything that it can possibly be available for?
Ideally, yeah. I know there's a whole thing that comes into account of, like, budgeting and resources and materials and things like that, but it's all
underfunded anyway.
I was gonna say, it's all underfunded anyway. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be underfunded.
Right.
And here we are.
Mm-hmm. You know, we've talked about in another podcast about medicine and using e-medicine and opportunities to take advantage of, talking to your doctor remotely. And how people are starting to take, at least some people are able to take their healthcare into their own hands because they don't have to rely on a traditional system.
There's a whole...
Could education be the same way?
You know how many websites I know where women get their birth control from a website and not, like, from having to go to a gynecologist?
No.
There's quite a few of them. Because they have that access.
So could education be the same thing? And I'm not just talking about college. I'm
No,
talking about education on the whole.
Uh-huh.
Now, that's not to say that if, you need physical therapy or speech therapy or OT or if you're the type of person that just really needs to have that one-on-one interaction, that wouldn't be available, but that would be more available to you, because then we wouldn't be putting all the same resources into all the same people exactly the same way, and instead giving the people who really need it what they need, and then people who are looking for something different and don't need that, an opportunity to do something differently.
Yeah, because we're not saying make everything online. That's not what we're saying.
Right.
We're saying both options need to be available.
Accessibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah.
So do you think we could do that? We can have an education system where some people physically go into a building to get certain resources, And otherwise, you get those resources right where you live? Could that be a thing?
It could be, but do I see it happening soon? No.
I don't like your negativity.
What? Is this why the Reds lost?
Your negativity is why the Reds lost. Yes.
It's the Reds. Anyway. Sorry.
Paul Stefanik.
Yeah.
Living on.
Paul Stefanik, circa 2014?
Your negativity is why the Reds lost.
Yeah. I apologize to any Cincinnati Reds fans out there, but seriously.
We did live in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
My husband was a Reds fan at one time, even though I was appalled and still a Yankees fan. Pretty sure I wore my Yankees hat to Red Stadium.
I think you did. There's photos of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, don't know anything about basketball, but I know that the Cincinnati Reds are not it. Although he was very, like, not hometown, but whatever city he lived in, he supported their team.
Yeah.
Until later, when he started liking hockey.
Yeah.
He was like, woo, Bruins! And I'm like, wow.
So could we have, like, an education cafeteria?
What?
Could we have, like, an education cafeteria where you pick and choose, like a food court?
Oh.
An education court, you know, where you're like, you know what, I really need to be there for this service, but this service I could access online, and I think that would be fine. Do you think that's something that we could do?
I think you and I could make it happen. You wanna?
I think that would be a great idea, you know?
I'm mostly free on Tuesday.
You know, I know that my niece, during the pandemic, my youngest niece,
Yeah.
like, phys ed was a joke.
Oh, God. Yeah. She came, I remember her talking about it, like, during lockdown.
Right.
And she was like, this is just, like, she was, how old was she? 9? 10? Yeah, she was 10, because she's going to be 13 this year.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's going to be 13 this year. Anyway.
At the beginning of lockdown, she was 9, and then she turned 10.
Yeah. And
But did it have to be that way? Does phys ed have to be something that you're always in person for?
no. Look at her. She did it so good by herself. She's very athletically inclined.
I think that also depends upon the resources that you have near you. Like, do you live near a park? Do you live somewhere where the weather is compatible to being outdoors most of the year?
Do you have access?
We do not.
Do you have access to a gym of some sort?
Yeah, like if you can't be outdoors, can you be indoors? Is that an option that's available to you?
Yeah, that turns into a whole other realm of accessibility that is...
Is the school building not being used correctly? I mean, those giant classrooms that are just meant for bodies. Could we be doing something else with that if we allowed some students the opportunity to learn in a different way or learn from home? You know, the reason that a lot of parents homeschool is because they know that the education system as it stands right now doesn't serve an effective purpose.
That's actually... I homeschooled for most of my high school career.
Most of your high school career.
Because absolutely not. Mm-hmm. And my husband and I have actually talked about it, not only because of the education system, but it shouldn't be this way. The safety of sending kids to school.
Yeah, because you're creating a target, and obviously they're not safe in school.
Yeah, no. We've actually, like, already said, like, I'm not pregnant. I'm not. But when we have children...
She just wants to clarify that.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Because, like, I've already mentioned, like, like, why I can't... I just don't want people to pick up on anything. I'm not pregnant. But, when we do have children... Yeah, I'd like to be. But when we do have children, they are being homeschooled. Because I don't feel the need for them to be there. Like, in a physical building. And 2, I don't feel that they're safe being in a physical building.
Right. Even though right now we live in the town where you went to elementary school, and you
And it was great.
loved
It was
it.
fantastic.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Even so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Education cafeteria.
That sounds like
A term that should...
cafeterium.
Cafeterium.
Yeah.
But it's like a term that should catch on.
Mm-hmm. Hashtag education cafeteria.
That's
That's a really long
It could also give some students that are more advanced an opportunity to move through these artificial grades
That's something else.
more quickly.
People should be able to learn at the pace that they learn at and not be stuck in this weird middle ground, or they're moving too fast or moving too slow.
Or being held to a standard that we hold everyone to, but you can't meet that standard.
Yeah, no, that's garbage.
Or you met that standard and you're still stuck there because you don't have the opportunity to advance because you're in a smaller school district or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking about... Oh, your grandmother's calling. Hello.
I take an intermission.
Good. Oh, okay, how are you? I don't think so. No, I think I got everything last night that I need for work tomorrow. Yeah. Alrighty. Okay. Yep. Alrighty. Bye. I don't think I need anything from the grocery store, right?
I don't think
I think I took care of that last night. Okay, so I like this idea.
I do too. Wait.
The education cafeteria. I mean, it's already weird that we require classroom educators to have master's degrees, and then we continue to feel like we need to tell them what to do and how to do it. You know, we require them to get all this education, and then we don't trust them with it. It's bizarre.
It doesn't make any sense.
You know, maybe with this education cafeteria, we can actually let educators be educators. You know? Because I'm sure some of them have some really great ideas that are just not being heard. What do you think, Kes?
I was looking at your Washington Post thing you sent me. I think...
It sounded like somebody was out there, didn't it? No, it was out there.
Oh, I didn't hear anything.
That's what it was.
Oh, it was my, yeah.
That was...
My heel.
It was that.
My heel that really needs to be reinforced, because I do that.
Oh, yeah. You
Yeah.
need to have that redone. Okay, so where are we?
We are in a place where we don't have access to the education that should be accessible to everybody. And
It needs to be presented in multiple formats.
yes, education cafeteria sounds like a great idea.
I really like this idea.
We just need to. I never checked if we won the Powerball.
We didn't.
We didn't.
No one did.
They keep doing that.
It went up a lot too.
How much is that now?
Like it went up like a
half a billion or no,
half a mil something. Let me see.
Mom and I play Powerball and Mega Millions solely. Well, not solely for the sake, but one of the reasons, one of our ideas was to build some sort of education system. But yeah, we just need
2, 8, which I know is one of our numbers.
Yep.
15.
Nope.
19.
yes.
58.
Ooh, close.
And 10. Oh, it's your grandmother again. Hello. Oh, that's interesting. You know, there's an estate sale across the street at a house right up on the hill there. Did you see it? Did you see the estate sale signs? I don't know. It could be both. Yeah. That's interesting. Makes me wonder about this house up here. I wonder what furniture they sold in that. at that estate sale.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Bye. Oh my God, she hung up the phone.
Whoa.
So it's $747 million.
Nice.
So it went up almost
50 million.
almost $50 million.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. See, we have plans. But yeah. This episode's running really long.
I know. You'll edit it.
I know.
I'm going for education cafeteria.
Alright. I'm down.
I really like green jello.
I miss being able to eat pizza during lunch.
Yeah.
I miss being able to eat pizza, period, but that's a whole thing we could
It's
talk
a
about later.
whole other thing. Yeah.
We'll
Alright.
probably talk about that next time.
So I'd like to hear from you guys.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts about remote learning if you've ever done it? If you've never done it, don't think that your opinion is welcome because it's not. It's just not. You got to try it in order to have an opinion on it.
It's just really funny the way you said it.
But if you've done it and it's worked, what worked? If you've done it and it didn't work, what didn't work?
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to see? Is there a program that you'd like to do and there's no remote option available?
Yeah.
And is it just because people are not being creative enough and not thinking outside the box? Or is it because it's something that you really physically need to be there with an educator in order to do it? The first thing that comes to my head is welding.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there's safety things involved and it's really not a remote learning kind of thing.
Not really, no.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Or, I mean, really most trades, I would think.
Being a dentist.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just had a funny one.
What is it?
Mortuary sciences.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can't do that remotely.
No. Oh, sorry. I really enjoyed that. Okay. Anyway.
So I'd like to hear from you guys what you think about education options. And not just in college, but throughout. And would you like to see there be an option where your kids go in for some things but are able to do other things at home? Or that they can take advantage of the public education system without ever having to go into the building.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think should be available to kids? I think that they go to school too early, especially high school students and middle school students.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
they're in school too long.
6.5, 7 hours a day is too long. It's too heavy.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
College students don't spend 6 hours 5 days a week in class. If they did, their brains would probably start leaking out of their ears. Okay.
I mean, I did, but
Not
it
in
wasn't
class.
consecutively.
Right? Yeah.
There were separate classes for like an hour and a half or 45 minutes. Or my studios were 3 hours.
Right.
But that was the longest.
Yeah. What kind of things would you like to see available? I know it's hard because we think of school as a way for you to be able to go to work. So school is almost like a childcare option in a sense for some people.
Yeah.
But when we think about it strictly as education, what do we need and what are we not getting?
A lot of things.
And why can't we get those things?
Yeah.
Especially when some of them cost very little money. I mean, if we've already invested in the systems to be able to offer education remotely, why aren't we accessing them and using them?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You know what we should talk about next time?
Mm.
Mental health days.
Yeah. I took mental health days in college. It was acceptable to do that.
You took them in high school too because I told you could.
Well, I took them in high school because I needed to and because you told me that I could.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that they liked it.
Yeah, no.
I took mental health days in college and they actually accepted it.
Right.
As like, yeah, totally, we'll see you tomorrow, or we'll
Uh-huh.
see you next week or something.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Anyway.
How do we feel about the 40-hour work week?
It's terrible. It's stupid.
Oh, they're saying it's a thing of the past.
Yeah, because it kind of is. Because it's not the, wake up and grind kind of thing. And, like, 9 to 5s are not conducive.
The grind.
Yeah.
The grind, and what was the other word?
Hustle.
Hustle.
Toxic. Not good. Not good for your mental health or your family.
Unless
or
that's
social
your
life.
thing.
No.
Unless you really enjoy it.
That's
different.
different.
That's a totally different thing.
That's different. But if you're being made to do it because it's the standard, no. If you enjoy it, great. If you don't, you shouldn't have to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. She's quite adamant about that.
Yeah.
Did you see that response?
I'm not sorry.
Okay, so you're gonna edit this.
I'm gonna edit this and it'll be up
and it'll be
a few hours.
Yeah.
Because the longest thing is going to be the export.
And cutting out Grandma's phone calls.
Cutting out Grandma's phone calls.
And
Or I just put the word intermission over the middle of the screen.
play some music.
Maybe not. That would get me copyrighted. This has been an episode of Under the Sun and Moon podcast with Michelle and Kes.
I'm Michelle.
I'm Kes. You will see us next Sunday as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We might not record on the same day, but you will see us.
Hopefully I'll be feeling better. And I won't be as exhausted as I am today.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's killing me.
I skipped over the time where I was feeling really terrible. So today's the best I've felt in a little bit.
That's good. That's really good. Not that I feel terrible. I'm just exhausted. I have no energy.
Oh, I know. But yeah. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
And don't forget to message us.
Yeah.
Drop your opinions in.
Comments on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook.
Yep, all those things.
Send us an email. I don't know.
Do them all.
Do whatever you
Do
want.
them all.
Do whatever you want. Okay, bye.